New York Governor Kathy Hochul is revealing new details about her proposed tax on second homes, which she claims will raise $500 million. Madison Allworth has the details for us on the proposal. Madison.
Jason, we got new details on that tax and information on an entirely new tax proposal as well that might also be included in the budget. But let's start with the pied-à-terre tax, or that second home tax. So co-ops and condos carrying an assessed market value of at least $1 million will reportedly face an annual surcharge after 2 years. That levy is then based off of the estimated sales tax and applied on homes worth $5 million or more in the latter years. Now, 1 to 3 family homes over $5 million will be taxed right off the bat on the sales price. We spoke to a New York City real estate broker who says that two-step approach is completely confusing because assessed value is how the city calculates your property taxes. It's not what you can actually sell the apartment for. He says the state is rushing this through and it could backfire.
Buyers can take bad news. What they can't take is uncertainty. And right now we have both bad news and uncertainty for buyers. You get to a certain point where you worry about people just putting pencils down and saying, this is just not for me.
So real estate owners are waiting to see what happens here, and so is Mayor Mamdani, because these are all proposals in the state budget in Albany. None of this tax policy goes into the city budget unless it passes in the state. And we are 44 days late on the state budget. That is the latest it's been in 16 years. But the mayor is okay to wait because he says he needs that money.
The most important aspect of this proposal is one that it would raise $500 million. And that's something we continue to be confident about. And we continue to see this as a critical part of bridging the fiscal deficit.
Okay, but New York City's comptroller says the revenue would not be that high, putting it at closer to $340 million. But as I mentioned off the top, there could be an additional amount of money coming from another tax. A New York State Assembly member confirmed to me at Fox Business that they are weighing a tax on an all-cash home purchase for over $1 million. So if you buy your home for over $1 million in cash, you could be paying more. The American Real Estate Association says that will impact 64% of purchases in New York City. Jason?
Madison Allworth, thank you. For more on this, let's bring in Caroline Downey, National Review columnist. I mean, the head just swirls. When you think of New York and taxes and tax increases, I don't know how the average person here does it because, look, a $1 million home in New York City is far different than Dubuque, Iowa. I get that. But the taxes here just continue to go in one direction. That is higher.
Right, absolutely. And isn't it interesting, Jason, the mission creep of the tax the rich movement? Mamdani campaigned as being a working class champion, and then he quickly realized, and actually I don't think it was an epiphany, I think he knew this the whole time on the campaign trail, the city is broke. It's in a budget crisis. It has a revenue shortfall of $5.4 billion. The only way he can get the money he needs, to Madison's point, is to target the middle class as well. So he's really grasping at straws to find that money. Hochul is obviously willing to work with him to a certain extent, but he's going to risk more capital flight out of the city, run the tax base back to the Sun Belt, where it's been running since 2020 and before that, really, and he's going to be between a rock and a hard place.
Well, it does come down to a lot of what's happening here in New York City. I mean, I'm still stunned by the fact that the entire state of Florida, which is like 2.5, almost 3 times bigger than the population of New York City, and yet New York City has a higher budget than even the entire state of Florida. Somehow they can't get it done. It's a testament to not only conservative principles, values, and a guy like Ron DeSantis as the governor running that state, but Mamdani, his only solution is raising taxes. And these are taxes at the city level that hit the average person. It's not a millionaire, billionaire class that gets hit with this stuff.
Right, and the Florida comparison is really important. I'm from the state of Florida, but my family's originally from the tri-state area, southern Connecticut. They're familiar with the really punitive tax system around here, and that's why they fled to the sunny shores of Florida, a much more hospitable business environment. But they spend dollars more efficiently in Florida. The dollar that you put into the system goes a lot further. Here, it's just a boondoggle. It's complete waste. We don't even know. The outcomes are quite clear. But in the education system, how much is spent per pupil in the New York City education system? It's not translating to a better academic performance, I can tell you that. But the bottom line is that the mamdani doesn't seem to realize that the city doesn't have a revenue problem. Actually, they're projected to have a 1.2% increase in revenue for the city in 2026. They have a spending problem. But he doesn't want to cut any of those laundry lists of goods that he promised on the campaign trail, and he wants to appease his base when he said he would make the millionaires and the billionaires the boogeyman. He has to somehow fulfill that promise and say that he is targeting the rich.
All right, so let's look at some of the things that mamdani is looking at raising taxes on. One of the ones jumps off the sheet is ambulance fees. So even if you call an ambulance and you don't take it, guess what? Ambulance fees are going up something like $24.6 million. And no ambulance fee, that goes up for another $10 million. Gun permits go up. And bus tickets, concession money, taxi rides are going to become more expensive. How is a taxi ride a tax on billionaires? Guaranteed, those billionaires aren't taking taxis, folks. Those taxes on taxis are going to go to your average person who just needs to go from point A to point B.
Right, and this was always the tragedy. It was, I think, intentional of mamdani's proposals, is that he claimed, he was talking in one sense that it was only the top percentage of income class that would be hit. But in reality, they can move. Money is mobile. They can go to Winter Wall Street if they want. But it's the mom and pop shops and the blue collar workers and the working class here that isn't quite so mobile, and they have to deal with the repercussions of what mamdani is putting down the pipeline, and that's the saddest part about it. And yeah, it's going to affect everyday people, whether they're taking the taxis, the ambulances, whatever. It's going to trickle down and just make everything more expensive. And how does that translate to affordability, which he said he was running on?
No, he did manage to find places to cut. The only two places that jumped off the page were veterans. Wants to cut veterans benefits, albeit $60,000. But anyway, somehow that's going to save money for the city by getting rid of special events and whatnot. And battery disposal. They were spending something like $353,000 on a battery recycling program, but they want to get rid of that.
Well, but to my knowledge, Jason, he's expanding the DEI initiatives in New York City's government, and I imagine that will be quite expensive. We know how much of a racket that is, jobs that are just being justified for their own sake. So maybe consider cutting some of that instead of military veterans who put their lives on the line for this country.
Well, and then also, yeah, he thinks he's going to generate $15 million more by adding more tickets to people that are driving their cars in bus lanes. So $15 million, that's a lot of parking, a lot of driving tickets. Caroline Downey, truly appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on Kudlow.